The last few weeks have been filled with reports about chemical weapons being used in Syria. But this morning, a new filing in an obscure terrorism case is confirming something long feared, a chemical weapons program run by al-Qaeda. Our senior correspondent, John Miller, is a former FBI assistant director. John, good morning.
Good morning.
What did we learn?
Well, this case comes out of the office of Loretta Lynch, the U.S. Attorney in the Eastern District here in New York. And it's something that started back in December, so it hasn't exactly been in the headlines. But yesterday, quietly, they dropped a document into the file that certainly caught my attention. The case is about an individual called Mahdi Hashi, a young man from Britain who went to al-Shabab, the terrorist group in Somalia. And he and two others trained in weapons. They became part of an elite suicide bomber unit. But the document filed yesterday had one line that said, the defendants had substantial knowledge regarding an al-Shabab research and development department that was developing chemical weapons for use by the terrorist organization.
Isn't this our worst nightmare, terrorists using chemical weapons?
Well, it's certainly in the top one or two, nukes or chemical weapons. And in the context of what's going on now, when you look at al-Shabab having an R&D department working on chemical weapons, the top CIA analyst told us a week ago, just after he left the agency, that if Syria's government fell, the al-Qaeda elements there could get access to those chemical weapons. Al-Qaeda operators in Iraq found with chemical weapons a couple of weeks ago. You see that this seems to be something that the intelligence community is very concerned about, and al-Qaeda seems to be striving for.
Okay, I think there's two different things here. One is Syria, which has a chemical weapons program, and then terrorists getting their hands on those.
Right.
Two is al-Qaeda and trying to make or form their own chemical weapons. That's a much different standard to meet, right?
It is. Syria is using military-grade chemical weapons, sarin, VX, mustard. Al-Qaeda is more likely trying to develop their own homemade sarin or working with, and this is a real problem, readily available commercial industrial products that can be turned into dispersal devices that can be very deadly in terms of chemical weapons.
When federal authorities look at this, what concerns them the most, as you have said, is terrorists getting hold of these kinds of weapons of mass destruction. I mean, is there a timeline on this? How close do they think this might be as a real threat?
So that's the big question right now. They have debriefed these individuals in the course of this arrest and others with knowledge about al-Shabab. They don't have a pinpoint, or have they actually developed something, or are they still working on it? But the idea that they have a department and that they have capable, knowledgeable people in that department who are striving towards it is something very concerning to them.
And we remember that the Japanese had a sarin gas attack in the subways over there.
That's right, and that was another offshoot that had worked pretty hard to develop it, but in the end it was it worked.
John, thank you very much.